While the average American worker's productivity continues to increase, the federal minimum wage has remained stagnant for over 10 years. At the same time, the average CEO's pay continues to skyrocket, although this rise in pay is not related to rising value or skills for that said CEO. Seems like it should be the other way around, shouldn't it? My name is Nicole Nardowitz, and I'm here to talk to you about the wage discrepancy that continues to increase between the average American worker and the CEOs of the companies that they work for. In the last 40 years, CEOs' average pay has increased over 1,000%, while the pay of the average line worker has only increased 13%. As the cost of goods, everyday essentials, education, and living continue to rise here in America, why hasn't minimum wage budged? I understand that there will always be those at the top, those earning more than the rest of us. They are CEOs for a reason, and they probably worked hard to get there. But the way big corporations have monopolized on their infinite stock buybacks and taking that money to put back in their own pockets is a blatant corruption of the democracy that America was built on. How can we expect the current or future generations to succeed and contribute to a thriving economy and society when we can't even feed or house ourselves at the current pay rate? Many companies are now moving to incorporate a $15 an hour minimum wage, which is much more close to a livable wage for most people. If this means that CEOs are paid a bit less, so be it. The reality is that our economy suffers more when the average worker is paid less, as opposed to the leading CEO seeing a few bucks out of their $15 million annual salaries. Most CEOs make in one day what it would take the average American a year to earn. This is just outrageous, and unless we want our future generations to be forced to live in poverty and debt for the rest of their lives, the change needs to occur now. I am urging you to join the many corporations in raising our minimum pay for entry-level employees to $15 an hour and continuing to monitor and correlate this with a normal living wage for our county. I also urge you to change the percentage of profits allocated for buybacks within the company and redistribute that to workers and reinvestment so that we can create more jobs. We need to lessen the wage gap if we want to have a thriving U.S. economy and not end up in the same boat that we were in during the Great Depression in the 1920s. Because with the current path we're on, we are dangerously close. Thank you for your time and consideration. It is much appreciated.